Welcome back to my channel. Today is Sunday the 3rd of January and if you were watching my Vlogmas you may know that we was really excited about getting a bit of snow because my youngest son, he can hardly remember snow, which is crazy because growing up we've always had snow right through my teens, 20s and things, but the last few years, just this part of the Midlands, we just wasn't lucky enough to get it. Well, last night we got the snow and I've done a little bit of footage of it, so I will insert that in this video. So it was quite exciting, but we've woke up this morning and it's practically gone. But I thought I'd come on to give you a little bit of an update what's been going on so far this morning. I've been having a little bit of a sort out in my wardrobe, and I've got out a load of things that I think I'm never going to wear again, and I think I'm going to possibly turn these into underwear. I don't know how suitable some of them are going to be, so I'm going to have a good look through. But I've also this is a little tip that I want to give you. I've cut off all the buttons. I haven't cut the buttons off that one actually. I've yet to cut the buttons off this one, but I have been cutting buttons off the things I've been getting out of my wardrobe this morning. And because I like to keep them together, I'm going to show you something I like to do. And basically what I do is I take craft card, I cut them into 2-inch strips. I've got various cutters. This is my crocodile that I use sometimes. The reason I cut them into 2-inch strips is because I've got a punch that will cut the top of it into that shape. So it cuts them like that. You can cut them either end if you want to, because basically I'm a paper crafter. I used to have a YouTube channel where I used to sell paper craft items, and I did manage to collect a few things along the way. I did stop that business because I wasn't really, it was taking up a lot of time, like a job, like a full-time job, but I wasn't really getting the money out of it. It was more like it was funding a hobby, but the hobby then was taking up that much time. I wasn't getting time to sew or do anything else. So and you have to make monthly minimums, so it just wasn't working for me. So but I am left with a few craft items. So I basically cut this because I know that gap's a 2-inch strip, and I've got a corner rounder also. So what I do is I get my sewing machine, I drop the feed dogs, I put the button foot on, then when I've cut all the buttons off the garments that are no good, they're not even good, if they were good for a charity shop, they wasn't in a bad way, I'd probably leave the buttons on, but because the fabric is scrap and no one is ever going to wear it, I like to recycle the buttons, and this is what I like to do. So they actually look like they're in a shop, really, don't they? So that's what I've been doing this morning. Now I know I've got a little bit fancy, but you don't need to. You could just do it on a rectangular piece of card, couldn't you? You could cut it in any shape. You could have a heart punch. You could do anything, couldn't you? But that's a little tip I'd like to give you. I'd like to claim that as my own because I have not got that from anywhere. It's just something, because I'm a paper crafter and I do different crafts, they kind of like pass over here and there. So I'm going to claim it as my own. You know, if you've seen this somewhere else, you know, let me know, but I've not seen it anywhere. So that's what I've been doing with that. I've cut out some tracing paper into sections now for my toaster sweater and my Billy sweatshirt, but I'm yet to trace them. But it's lunchtime now and I could do with a few supplies, so I'm going to nip out to the co-op, and hopefully this afternoon I can get back in here and do a little bit more crafting. That would be a bit exciting, wouldn't it? So I'll see you later. Right, it's Sunday afternoon now. Everybody's fed and watered. I really hope you like that snowy footage I had to show you. It's a shame, really, I couldn't include it into Vlogmas, but you can't predict the British weather, can you? But I suppose we are still classed as Christmas. We 10th day of Christmas, aren't we? 10 Lords are leaping, so it's still officially Christmas, isn't it? So a little bit of an update now. Now everybody's like obviously happy. My family, you know, have had their lunch and everything. I can tell you what I've been up to, and I did nip to the shop first. So I was having a look through my scrap garments that I was getting rid of. That they was all stretchy, so I was checking all the stretch on them to see if I can make underwear out of them. And then some of them might not be my best underwear, but just, you know, some comfy things for going around the house. And there is a pattern I want to try. I've got a few patterns here, pant patterns that I've collected, but I also want to try the Rebecca Page basic thong pattern. Now, I've not made a thong before, so I'd like to try that one. But while I was looking through the scrap garments, I found a vest that I'd obviously took out my wardrobe because I thought it's got a hole in it. I'll put a little bit of footage on the screen. On the bottom right hand side, where there used to be a label that came off, it left a hole. And I looked at the vest and I thought, you know what, it's half decent, you know, just, you know, on like, you know, on the beach to put over your bikini and things. And this vest is very, very long from Superdry. So I decided I was just going to cut the bottom of it off. To cut the hole off and turn up a hem, and I have taken a little bit of footage, so you might have seen that already. So then I got it onto my cover stitch machine, which is all set up in white thread that it came with, and I sewed it, and I know now how to properly finish off, which I've tried to film it. I've put some footage in. I might have to do a voiceover yet. So what I'll do is I'll pop you over to that footage now, and hopefully you get a gist of what I'm doing in the video. So I'll see you in a bit. I'm just getting to the beginning now of where I started stitching. I'm turning the hand wheel towards me to raise the needles. Remember to lift up the presser foot. Now I'm not cutting the threads here, I'm just using the tip to pull the threads towards me. Then slowly I start to take the fabric out of the back. Then you have to cut the top threads, then you pull, and then the looper thread brings the threads through to the back, and choose how to tie them off. So I hope that made a little bit of sense to you. So when you stop sewing, you have to turn the hand wheel towards you to lift the needles up. You raise the presser foot. Then you can use anything. It doesn't have to be something sharp. You just use something to get behind those threads and pull them towards you, which is very unusual. You don't do that on an overlocker or a sewing machine. Then you slowly ease the fabric out at the back, and then you snip your top threads, and then as you pull the fabric, the looper thread, which is still attached, pulls the front stitches through to the back of the work. Then you snip that, and then you decide on how you want to finish that off. I think I just snipped it off, and I thought, well, I'll just see. So now this is the vest, and as you can see, this vest is still very, very long. and it would have made lovely pants actually. It's so lovely and soft and stretchy, but say if anything else happens to this, it can be a pair of pants next time. So I like to repurpose clothes for as long as I can. You know, the way the planet is, you know, you want to get the best out of things. You don't want to just be in this throwaway society, do we? So I hope you enjoyed that little demonstration of the cover stitch machine, and I'm going to crack on now back in my craft room, and I'm going to look to tracing some pants out and some sweatshirts out and things. I don't know if I'll be filming again today. I might be back with some more footage tomorrow, but don't go anywhere, and you'll see me in the next part when I've done a bit more. Okay, see you in a bit. Now this is how I like to test my neckbands for size. Now the size of the neckband for the size I'm using should be this long. It only goes to there, but as you can see, I've cut mine longer than it needs to be. I've placed a pin in the halfway point on the front neck and the halfway point on the back neck, and I've marked a pin halfway along on my neck binding. So now I place the middle pin neck binding at the front here. I normally fold it in half how it's going to be, and I'll start easing the neckband along where I'm going to be stitching it, the size. I'm sorry if I'm blocking your view. This fluffy dressing gown, it is rather cold today. And then when I've reached that point, I pop a pin it like this, and that's where the back seam is going to be. Now I'm just going to check that for size, actually compare it to the pattern. So that's where the halfway mark is. So if you look, I don't know how can you see this? I've just looked at my pattern piece. Now mine has gone a slightly bit over, and I've got to add a seam allowance to that yet. So I know if I'd have used this pattern piece and used this fabric, the neckband would have been too tight. So I hope that makes some sense to you. Never cut them to the size they say. Cut them longer and test it first. That's my advice. Right, so I've just folded my neckband piece up back in half the way you would have cut it on the fold. Just try and put that in shot. Sorry, it's difficult for me to see and do this at the same time because I'm the other side of the camera. And then that's the fold line. Place that on the fold and place that there, and look how much excess there is. So that's how much more I needed for this neckband using this fabric. Welcome back to the final piece of my video now. I've been away and I have completed something, and you might be able to spot it. I'm wearing it now. Now you may remember a while ago that I bought some fabric, some pink and I think it's like a navy from Sewing Street. I think I bought about 3 meters each or 2.5 meters each. I'm not quite sure now. And it's basically like a sweatshirt in fabric, and it's got lurex in it, which gives it a shimmer. So this is what I've decided to make my billy in, because I wanted to make the dress version. When I saw it, I just thought, I want that dress. And I've literally just finished it. I'm so excited about it. I've just literally finished it, put it on. I had some photographs taken in it. I've not even looked at the photographs yet. But I will put them in the screen. So when I look back on the video, I'll put them in on the screen. But I've just dashed down here to show you, because I just wanted to kind of complete this video so I can then move on to the next one. So the billy is by Tilly and the Buttons. This is the instruction booklet, and on the front of the pattern it actually isn't a dress, and there's different versions of it. You can have a sweatshirt version and you can have a balloon sleeved version. Personally, people are probably going to hate me for saying this, but I really don't like the balloon version. I just don't know what it is. People have gone crazy for this balloon sleeve, and I think most people that have bought it is because they wanted the balloon sleeve. But you know, for me, it just didn't do anything. Just didn't do anything for me. I just thought, no, I just want the regular sleeve. It's just funny how different, you know, people are. It would be boring if we was all the same, wouldn't it? So yeah, I've made the standard sleeve in the full length version. Now I have made a couple of alterations. One was on purpose and one was accidental. Now my sleeves are probably 1/4 of an inch longer than the pattern, because, which you wouldn't notice, would you? And that was just because when I was using a tracing wheel to trace out the sleeve, when I took the pattern piece off, because I just had the pattern on top, there was actually a fold in my tracing paper. See this line here? That's what that is. I was naughty, I didn't iron it, and yeah, so that's what happens. But I'm kind of happy because I wanted long sleeves. I wanted this to be quite snuggly, and when you do the dress version, you actually get pockets, and which is really nice, but it's really quite unusual to the way I've done pockets before. Normally when I've sewn pockets before in things, when you've sewn the whole garment together, you kind of come down the side, you go around the pocket bags and then down, but you don't with this dress. You sew the pockets beforehand, then when you sew the dress you just go straight down, and it feels really alien. You feel like you're going to stitch up the hole in your pockets, but the reason it doesn't is because the pocket kind of sits forward. I'll try and show you that. Can you see here? It kind of scoops round. So that's the seam of the garment, but this pocket scoops round like that. And I've just used coordinating fabric inside, and they're lovely, lovely deep pockets. I'm really pleased. And the other alteration I made mine 2 inches shorter, and the reason why I've done that is because I'm 5 ooh, my tracing paper's falling. I'm 5'4", and Tilly's patterns are, they're aimed, well, I don't know what the official word is, but they're based on people that are 5'5" and 5'6". So I thought, oh, I'll just lop a couple of inches off, and that will kind of be about right. And I do like things quite mini as well. And what I did, because I'd noticed the few people that I had a look at a while ago that had made, you know, people like make patterns as soon as they get released, they'd made the dress, and I don't know if they'd lengthened it, but it looked too long for my taste. It looked longer than what is on the model. Now you don't know how tall that model is, you don't know if any adjustments have been made. I would love it actually if pattern designers told you what height the model was, if any alterations had been made, because that would kind of help us a little bit, wouldn't it, on deciding what we want. But yeah, I'm absolutely over the moon with it. And the funny thing is, the reason I decided to sew up my Billy sweatshirt dress before doing my toaster sweater is because I thought I'm going to have to change the threads, because at the moment there's black threads in, and I thought, oh, it would be perfect for sewing this. Well, it really wouldn't have mattered, because look, this is the outside, look at the inside. It's virtually, it's like a greyish whitish colour. So actually the dark overlocks, because I've made this totally on my overlocker. The only thing I've done on my sewing machine is I did some understitching on the pocket. That is the only thing I've done on my sewing machine. Everything I've done on the overlocker, you know, the neckband. Oh, and the other alteration I've made actually is I've made the neckband larger. Actually I did a little bit of footage when I was making that, so you either I'll put that in or you've seen that already. So I did make my neckband larger just because the stretch in this fabric is pretty non-existent. The size that I made was the size. Now, bearing in mind, tilling the buttons aren't your average UK sizes. I don't know how they compare to American sizes, but she has her own sizing system, and I've made the 2. And the reason I've made the 2 is because I've made tilling the buttons tops in 2. Usually I make tilling the buttons bottoms in a size 1, but I just thought, wow, I looked at the ease and things, and I did know that there was going to be quite a substantial ease in the waist. There is quite a lot, look. If you look here, that's my waist. There's quite a lot, but I wanted it quite loose and comfortable. I'm going to be wearing tights underneath it if I want to go out, you know, in this cold weather and things. So yes, I'm really, really delighted with it, and I will make it again. But I would like to try the Nina Lee South Bank sweater. But going back to my toaster sweater version 1, thank you so much for all the suggestions on my channel, suggestions that have been made. 2 suggestions was actually something I had considered myself when I put my videos together, and that was the Linden sweatshirt I was wearing in the video, which happens to be the pink version of this fabric. They said that it goes very well with the fabric I won. I don't think it's down here now. And actually, when I was piecing my videos together, I thought that as well. I thought the pink looked much nicer. So that's one suggestion. So that is probably plan B. Plan A is somebody suggests, I think it was Andrea from Beyond the Pink Door, I think, suggested this. That I think she said that she's managed to get a toaster sweater in the small size for her daughter out of 1 metre of fabric. So I haven't put all the pattern pieces on the fabric yet, so you never know, I might be able to get the whole jumper out of the fabric I won. I might be just taking it for granted what I'm reading on the pattern. So that is going to be my plan A. Plan B is going to be matching it up with if I've got enough of the pink fabric in this version to go with it, and if I haven't, plan C would be probably purchasing some of the fabric, the matching fabric, so I can make it in all one shade. So that's where I'm at with that jumper. At the moment, the pattern pieces are all cut out individually with tracing paper, paper clipped to each bit. I've got to get my tracing wheel out yet and trace all the patterns, and they're all laid out ready to go there. And like I say, the reason I only chose to do this first was because of the overlap of threads, but it really wouldn't have mattered actually. So so that's where I'm at with that. And my husband, he's going to be watching football, I think about 8 o'clock tonight. So if I'm not feeling too tired, I might go and have a little bash at tracing some things out. Regarding my knitting, I've knitted all the little pieces for the ski mouse. I haven't sewn him together or stuffed him yet, and the reason being is this, because it's Monday the 4th of January today. I don't know if I've mentioned that already, but the tree's going to be coming down, isn't it? The last day the tree's going to be up is tomorrow, and I didn't have any toothpicks or, you know, cocktail sticks. I didn't have any coffee stirrers. I did go to the co-op after my last bit of the video that I told you about, and they did have coffee stirrers in the co-op, but they've gone all like paper. They look like paper straws. In all honesty, I didn't get them out, but they're in a paper covering and they look like a paper straw. Obviously, without ripping one open, I can't say for sure because they've got like one of these little Costa stands. So I've ordered, just to get 2 picks and 2 coffee stirrers, I've ordered some from Amazon. It's ridiculous, isn't it? And the thing is, they're not gonna come before the tree goes down. So I'll just have to photograph my little ski mouse somewhere else. That's why I haven't really bothered finishing sewing him up yet. because of that reason. And I've been watching a few films with my family and things down in the garden room, and sometimes they turn the lights down and the lighting's not all that great really down for doing some crafting. I think they do it on purpose actually, turn the lights right down so I can't do any crafting. I will admit I have had a bit of January blues today. It has hit me. My husband's gone into work today, which I felt a bit sad about, and my eldest son has been scammed. He's managed to lose £250, I think, on a Facebook marketplace, and he paid by PayPal. It's really upsetting, and he's contacted PayPal. He can't claim the money back because he chose the option that you pay family and friends, so he's not covered for the money, so it's just all his Christmas money and money he'd saved up and things just all gone. So he's just so upset about it. And my husband, I've messaged him and he's so cross. He's really cross with him because he did warn him to not buy things from Amazon Marketplace. So I'm not looking forward to later actually when they get together, you know, because my husband's not going to be happy with him and he'll tell him so. And my son, obviously, he's not going to want to hear it because he already feels bad enough as it is that he's lost his money. And yeah, it's awful, isn't it? So that's one of the reasons I've got in here today. I've done things that I've got to do around the house. I must admit, I didn't do the vacuuming. I've got to go and start cooking a dinner now. But yeah, I just wanted a little bit of escapism. And while I was in here concentrating on making this sweatshirt and stretching out neckbands and cuff bands and hem bands, I wasn't thinking about, all the other things that are going on. So yes, I try and keep my channel positive, but obviously, life isn't always positive, is it? Unfortunately, bad things happen. But yeah, there you go. So I am going to wrap this video up now, and I'll be posting it online. I'm going to check my photographs. I'm going to install things into my video and things for you to see. And no doubt a photo of this is going to be popping up on social media later, because I'm feeling all chuffed because I've not had a jumper dress since I was a little girl actually, so it's quite exciting. I used to wear tights and everything, so yeah, it's really lovely to have one again, and I do recommend it. I do think it's not as hand-holdy, the pattern, and I don't feel like I need it, obviously, because I've so many knit garments before. I don't think it's as hand-holding as some of Tilly's other patterns. In all honesty, there was not so much, there wasn't much in the way of diagram when it got to how it would look when you were sewing the garment together with the pocket and things. Maybe an extra picture might have been quite useful for somebody that was brand new. I don't think, even though I would recommend Tilly's patterns for beginners, maybe not this one. I'd say, things like the Cocoa and the Agnes are better for beginners. The Cocoa, the Agnes has got a neckband, but you just hem the sleeves and hem the bottom. And the Cocoa, it's all hemming, so there's no bands and things. So this one, it's band overload, isn't it? If you make the standard one, you've got cuff bands, hem band, neck band. You've got to enjoy putting bands on, really, haven't you, if you're making this? And obviously if you make the balloon sleeved one, you're going to have a bit more going on with that, because you're going to have to gather up the shoulder. I'm guessing you'll have to gather the cuff. In all honesty, I didn't read the instructions for the balloon sleeve, because I've got no intention on making the balloon. Well, never say never. I might get halfway through the year and just think, oh my goodness, I love that balloon sleeve. I've got to have it. You just don't know, do you? Your tastes change, There's certain things that come back in fashion that the younger generation wear. And I remember when it was in fashion, when I was a little girl and my mum was wearing it. And you know, and then you think, oh no, that's not for me. Is that back? You think, you know, you can't believe it's back sometimes, can't you? Because a lot of these fashions, they just circulate, don't they? And then with a little bit of a change here and there. So anyway, so I am going to wrap it up. I keep saying this, don't I? So thank you so much for joining me again on my vlog. When I come back on here, I keep wanting to say welcome back to Vlogmas, and I hope you don't mind that there's been a Christmas music going through this video on and off, because it just really suited the snowy scene, and I don't know how to turn the music off in between. I have to just keep it on, and I try and have to turn me up to try and drown it out, so I'm sorry about that. But we are still officially Christmas. We're day 11, aren't we? And tomorrow is day 12, the last day of Christmas. It's pretty sad. I find it sad because obviously we didn't get our Christmas tree up till Christmas Eve, so that's when Christmas really felt like it started for me. But there you go, never mind. Anyway, I am going to go this time, so thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll see you next time. Bye.